Okay, this is the final coat of ceiling insulation that's put on there. So this makes a minimum of 1 inch thick on the roof, and for about half of the roof it's 1.5 inches. I've marked out where the roof bows are, so when I go to install the covering over the insulation, I'll know where a good solid screw point is. So it came out fairly even, and I haven't yet decided what I'm going to do with it, if I'm going to use real thin plywood or planks. I'm not sure. I'll go shopping tomorrow and figure it out, but this is enough for one day. My knees are telling me to quit, so we'll pick this back up in the morning. I decided for the roof to use this material that I believe they call it wainscoting. It's traditionally used on the bottom half of a wall with a little wood trim above it, and then the remaining wall being either painted or wallpapered. It's a pretty thin material, and it's not real heavy. This is going to be a splice joint here with a wooden trim piece covering it, and there's also going to be a wooden trim piece that covers these screws as well. So the screw holes being butchered at this point makes no difference. Some of the screws went, when I tightened it up, went through this material clear through, so I had to redo the hole. In the front there's probably going to be a wood trim that holds the front into place, but these pieces here are for the moment temporary to support the front of the ceiling, because there isn't any cross member across the top to screw into. So I'm going to have to fasten it to the front wall, or the front above the windshield. But I think it'll look nice. This piece on the side, this wasn't wide enough for the whole assembly, and instead of putting it in with the seam in the middle, I opted to put the 4-foot section in the middle, and then I'm going to use strips in the side. And one of the reasons for this is I think that's where I'm going to be mounting my lights. So at some time in the future, if I decide I don't like the lights that I used, or I want to change it, it would be easy enough to take these side strips down and then use them as templates to make new ones, and then mount the light wherever or however I want to do it. I could even splice into these power wires. These will go to the house battery. I could even splice into them and then put in another utility light or whatever a little bit further forward. It's coming along. It just you know, you think the project's going to take you a couple of weeks, and it ends up taking you a couple of months. But I'll get it done. The second piece of ceiling panel went into place today, and one thing that I didn't notice was that the edges are a little bit different, and so from one side of the panel to the other. So what I should have done is turn this panel around before I cut the hole for the vent fan. So it's not a insurmountable mistake. When I cut this piece here, I'll just have to make sure that I cut it with an edge that matches this edge. So it's just something, a heads up for anybody else who wants to use this material, is the sides are different. On one end you have a bead, and on the other side you really don't. You just have a tape. You just have a taper there. So it's coming along. One thing that I did find interesting is, even with all of the insulation and paneling and everything, the roof is a little bit taller than it was stock. The way that I know this is I originally put this vent fan in with the original ceiling, and now to make this fit properly, I'm going to have to take and trim the bottom of this edge here another half inch to make it fit, because it doesn't want to go up all of the way. Okay, I got a late start again today. Been goofing off. The sun's going down, so I'm going to head on in, pick it up tomorrow. Okay, pretty much finished the ceiling installation. I still have a little bit of caulking to do, and then I'm going to repaint all of the white areas. Over here I still have to, I injected some foam back behind there because there was a gap. So that'll be trimmed, and then I'll put some caulking, latex caulking over it, and maybe cover it with a piece of wood trim. But I also installed 3 lights, and those will be hooked up to the house battery. Probably the next project will be to finish installing the air conditioner and the back wall. On the back side of this wall, it's not yet finished, so I need to get on with that. We'll go back there and take a quick look. So once I make some kind of a bracket to hold this, the back of this air conditioner up, I can go ahead and finish this wall. Then I'll need to put in vents either in the roof or in the somewhere in the sides or the back doors, so that the heat generated from this air conditioner has a place to go in the summertime, and also the heat from the generator. So I'll probably put in some floor vents, or maybe I'll put vents into the bottom of the door panel here. louvered vents, the same type that they use for, you know, home gables. Let me see if I can get you a picture of one. Similar to that gable up there.